Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis. And for the second to last time, I'm assuming this season, we have Michelle on top. How are you doing today, Michelle?
I'm good. I'm a little sad, but I'm excited. You know, what a great way to end the show.
I know. And Fanta's down below. How are you doing tonight, Fanta?
I'm good. This was an amazing season, and we made history today.
We made history.
This is the first time I've won a draft.
Whoa! Wait, okay, hold on. Okay, so maybe we just.
Oh my God! I was wondering if you won or not. That's amazing.
Are we giving 50 points for the winner? Is that what's up?
Yeah, it'd be 50 points for the winner.
Okay, so if that's the case, then I would have 80 points. Fanta would have 90, and Michelle would have 65 points.
So
that
close.
means that Fanta, with that 50 points, wins the draft.
Yo.
If she didn't have that, if it was any amount less, she would have had 45 points.
That's very, very close draft.
It was pretty close. If we had gotten points though for second and third, I think I would have beat you though, because I had Darrel, I had Kellyanne, I had Jemmye, and I even had Big E's. Oh, they're not points, but Kellyanne and Darrel would have.
Well, did you include points for like finishing the final or whatever?
We could
doing that, but if we're not doing that,
Fenta's like
no.
Yeah, exactly. That's my exact reaction. I'm like, stop right there.
if there's any sort of alteration, I will win this draft. So. Well, congratulations, Fanta. Did we decide on what the prize was? Do we owe you $50?
Yeah.
We never sent it out, but I guess it should be the same.
It's always the same.
All right then, lucky
ducky. Do more because it's all stars. It's up to you.
No.
I mean, a draft is a draft, so a win is a win, even though I feel like it was stolen out from under me. But I'm very happy to be supporting your first win here. I think we've all won now. So I won one. You won the next one, Michelle, and now Fanta's won yours. So I'm wondering.
We've just been passing the money around in a circle.
basically. But 37, we should get the audience to take bets on who they feel will win the next draft. So maybe we'll get some stakes in there and some odds or something. I'll learn how to do something to make that be fun for the audience. But what couldn't be more fun than episode 9? You're the best around is the title. And we just get back right into it with like shaky camera moments and hearing the faded words of Darrel saying, I need a medic. Now, Michelle, you are a super stan of Miss Kellyanne. How did you love the tough love that Kellyanne was giving Darrel in this moment? Yeah,
I mean, obviously it was perfect. She wasn't going to let him ruin her chances at that point and give up. And they were such a family, and they all of them talk about, and especially her, about how they do the same shit that the people do right now, but they have a smile on their face and they really help each other and support each other. So she's, giving him the tough love to get through it. It's like, it will pass. It will pass. And like Darrel would hate himself if he didn't finish it, So I thought that was awesome that she did that. And obviously it worked. So phew.
I love that. It was so quick too. Like I loved how like throughout the final, Jonna and Kellyanne, like all of the women, especially but Jonna and Kellyanne, were just like, nope, Kate, we're doing this. Like, I don't care. I gave birth 7 months ago. Like, yeah, it'll come out through the end. It'll pass. Let's go. I just love that so much. I'm like, y'all, like, I just love the women.
Me too. No, and in this moment as well, as like, I was hoping that Darrel wouldn't get offended, but like, because he was in so much pain, and just be like, I quit, just because he was just feeling so uncomfortable. Because she was like not being easy on him at all. She's just like, just get up, it'll pass. Like, gotta go. We gotta keep moving. Like, and she was just not going to let him steal away this opportunity of having first place. Like, she finally gets Darrel. She finally gets to get to the head of the pack. There's no way that she was going to allow him to call a medic and take her out of the competition. So I really love that moment. And I was so happy that he got back up because he was on my draft team and he was him and Kellyanne were my number 1 and number 2 picks to win for the most part. So I definitely didn't want them to DQ or medically DQ or anything like that. Like, I think that would have killed the entire final for me if that happened.
I think it was truly amazing that not a single person quit. And there were a couple almost quits throughout, which I'm sure we'll discuss, but yeah, everyone finished it because they have respect for it. And it would have been so easy for Big Easy or Anissa or other people who knew there was no way they were going to catch up with points to stop. But they didn't because they have respect for what the game is, and getting through an experience like that is life-changing. So,
well, I don't know how did this happen though? How did Anissa and Yes end up coming in second for this part of the final? Because she seemed really tired in a lot of areas.
Well, I think it's because who got first?
Kellyanne and Darrel.
Kellyanne and Darrel, right? I think what happened, we know Mark and Jemmye got stuck, right? Because she was sick. And then you had Ruthie with Alton, right? Yeah. And I think that they were just behind, I guess. Was there a puzzle leading up to that? Or was there a reason?
Well, they just left. They did do the puzzle. So they left the puzzle. Maybe that's wrong. Didn't they just they just did the puzzle in the Carolina Reapers, right? Reapers.
Yeah.
And so then they were just doing the sprint or whatever to the finish line, I believe.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I don't remember who. I guess, yeah, it must have been Alton.
But I mean, Yes also was such a good partner with everyone that he was with. And I think he just pushed her to move that little bit faster. Whereas Alton is so much more yes, whatever my partner wants, I'm doing it for my partner. He kept saying that throughout, oh, I'm just here to help for my partner, because I think, he could sort of figure out that he hadn't won enough on the first day to probably guarantee himself a win. And he doesn't even seem to, he seemed to care about winning, but more so just about supporting. Whereas I think Yes wanted to win, saw himself winning. So it was just a little bit of that different adrenaline, I guess.
And you know what? And probably Anissa as well was oh, I'm using this opportunity to get high points when I have a good partner here, and where at least they can set a little bit of a faster pace and I can try to keep up with them, as opposed to, when she's with Big Easy or whatnot, they're both very adapting to the pace that the other wants to have and doesn't want to push them too hard, and they're being very, very agreeable with slowing down. So yeah, maybe he set a good pace, but he's also a good partner and motivating, and you definitely want to take the opportunity when you're with a good partner to do well and get a high placement. So I guess, but we hear the faded words of poor Miss Jemmye being okay, I can walk now to Mark, but as long as I don't have to eat again. And they walk up to a table of nastiness that TJ greets them for. But before they get there, though, it did really make me tear up a little bit that nobody really wants to quit on their partner. And they're walking up there and they're all ready to do this. Fanta, we're going to talk about it a lot more, I'm sure, but this is your jurisdiction. This nightclubs and gross food is where Fanta thrives. How was this for you? Overview, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty.
This one was absolutely wild because I have obviously seen all of the eating challenges on the challenge, and this was the only one where I was actually kind of because I was actually eating while I was watching this, and I was actually hold on, I'm gonna because I was eating pork and I was I'm just gonna hold off on this for a second. I felt this is actually kind of making me feel a little bit sick. It was gross. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've got the classic like Kellyanne puking, like puke eating. She never like keeps anything down and then continues. Like she just puts something down and then it immediately comes back up and it's just massively projectile. And then in terms of like everyone was like really struggling through it, except for Yes was like had just gone to this mental place where he was just like, this is delicious, and was just like cutting it so proper and just like eating it like it was nothing, while like everybody else was like gagging. And Darrel, and I can't remember who was like what is this? And then Darrel and Anissa like at the same time were like, don't ask, you don't want to know.
Yeah.
And then Anissa at one point is just like, yeah, like this is just so gross, and like we gotta put down this choco dick. And then it like into like this like sausage, this like brown sausage. Oh my god, it was too good. It was so good. And then
honestly, that's a round where you really need to get that 5. Like that 5 points, that could have been for anyone to win.
Yeah.
You needed 100%. To get that. If Darrel had fucking sucked it the fuck up.
But the thing is, though, if I'm not mistaken, Darrel actually. Okay, so let me actually just rewind for a second.
Oh wait, yeah, because it was like whoever
5. They ended up finishing for like making their final partnering. So we have now Darrel and Anissa together. We have Yes and Ruthie together. Jonna and Alton together. Easy and Jemmye together, and then Mark and Kellyanne together. So these are the pairings, and they both have their own plates of food that they have to finish. And it doesn't seem like their partner can even help them finish this food. No. So I do wish that they maybe waited a little bit out, because like 20, if like me to eat 20 pounds of food and Big Easy eating 20 pounds of food is very different for like stomach capacity. So I felt really bad for someone like Ruthie, who's tiny, having to eat, it seemed like the same like volume of like Choco Dick as Easy's going to be eating.
But the funny thing is though, because she said in her confessional, she was like, I'm so glad that I was in a Filipino household, because that
well, I don't think she was grossed out, but I think it was just a lot of food for her to eat. Yeah.
Yeah. So was it wait, so then it's because your partner had to finish 2, it was Anissa and Darrel who got first for that round?
No, so first was Yes and Ruthie. No, Yes finished first. Yes, and then who finished after them? I think it was Kellyanne. Yeah, Kellyanne. She said that she did 3 checkpoints in a row, I think.
Yeah, so Kellyanne ended up winning with Mark.
Correct.
Or who was her partner? Mark at that point.
Kellyanne with Mark. So they ended up finishing first. Yes and Ruthie, they finished 3rd in the end, because Alton and Jonna finished 2nd. And so so Darrel actually finished before Ruthie and Yes, I think it was. Or before Ruthie did, but Anissa didn't finish. So if that pairing was flipped, oh no, he would only been behind by 1 point. So actually, Yes would have still have won, I believe. We have some of our friends here. Hi, Sophie. How are you? So Sophie says, I told you a couple of weeks ago that you'll be shocked at who was going to win. I wasn't shocked because of that little section last week.
You had a wonder about it. I would say like, I would have been. I didn't expect him to win, but I wasn't flabbergasted. I knew it was a potential, but it's true. Like he wasn't the person I was necessarily like thinking of who would win. So in that way, I was very surprised. But it does make sense. He's got good endurance. He's smart. You know what I mean. He showed that in the mini final. Like he's good at that kind of stuff. So it's not. It would have been mind blowing if like Jemmye had won the whole thing, or I
think that's just like, it just attributes to the chance of the challenge, because I think if Yes had gone into elimination, I don't know that he would have made it to so it's kind of like
he got so lucky not having to go in, like basically like
Anissa really kind of helped him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically. But I do think that he would have come out of that that elimination. I do think that he would have beaten Easy and Jisela.
That's true.
With Kendall. I just think that he's smarter and he would have, and he's calm, cool, and collected under pressure. So I think that they would have won. And I was talking about this with Michelle right before, is that maybe in that case that, you know, we would have had Nehemiah and Yes would have been men in the final, and it wouldn't have been easy. And so it would have actually maybe given an opportunity for Kellyanne to have done better, because all of her partners would have been, other than Derrick, I guess, but would have been better than her experience with Easy at the beginning of the game, so, or the finale. So it could have shaken things up, and he wouldn't have won even if he stayed in the game, just because the men would have been stronger collectively, which would have helped the women collectively, I think.
Yeah, it would have been interesting.
Okay, a little aside here. Hi, Natalie. Are Jordan and Naya dating? So I saw, did you guys see what we're talking
there's
about?
a little video of them, like, and he's like, they're cuddling up together, but they're obviously just playing it up. Like, that's the kind of friendship they have. And like, I know that they had beef, but they crushed the beef like years ago from what I hear. I don't know.
Yeah, Jordan is dating somebody else. I watched this podcast with Denny Pellegrino this week, and he asked like if he was dating anyone. He like talked about like Tory and like all of that stuff, and like how production.
Ooh, give me tea.
Yeah, I was like, over this?
Well, he was just talking about how he was like really disappointed and hurt at like how they broke up. Not necessarily like the aftermath of how they broke up. And he was like, we had an agreement, like we were like, okay, like let's like not do interviews about this. Like, let's just be like really responsible and really mature about like how we're doing the breakup. They both made an agreement. They're like, yeah, let's do that. And then he was like, so that's what I thought. And then she like went to go do, I guess, no, they did their temporary break. And then when she came back, they like broke up. So when she came back, then she started doing like interviews and stuff. And he didn't know. He was just like going for a jog one day. And he like came back home and his phone was like blowing up, and his friend texted him and was like, dude, have you like checked like this or da-da-da, whatever? And he was like, no, I was going for a run. And then he just like all of a sudden like saw this like interview, and she's just like talking about everything. So he was like just really kind of like blindsided with that.
So this is part of the post that people are talking about, and there's like a little video of them kind of in this same time frame. And it says, y'all wild in my comments right now. The moment you learn to embrace forgiveness, self-accountability, and personal growth, life gets really good. Some of y'all should really try it. So
I'll try it when I'm good and ready.
So do we know who he's actually dating now though?
He didn't say. He said that
could it be Naya?
No. Because Danny was like, is it somebody that we know? And then he was like, yes, like possibly. And then he was like, but it's not somebody that's like in this kind of like industry circle.
Okay.
Probably a model or something.
It is a model. So I did more research. I was doing a steam mop and I had time, baby. But I can't remember. It was like some model that like they've apparently been like flirting with each other on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Coincidentally, the way that I found out that my crush is not available. So
Kellyanne? Kellyanne?
No, somebody else.
Oh. Okay. Hi, CG. So yes, definitely showed me that he's still a great competitor from years ago. Yes, talking about yes. I think like he definitely has the physique of somebody that would be able to do well in a final. Like he doesn't have a lot of like muscle mass, so like the long distance running portion of it, he's going to be good at. He's going to be probably pretty decent at the kayaking, probably pretty decent at the biking. And so basically like his only potential hiccup would be A, his partner, and B, if he wasn't good at the food stuff. And he didn't seem to have any trouble with the food stuff. So I think he was just so well-rounded that he just got like inches above everybody.
Yeah. And being so smart about things, like when he chose to take his clothes off so that he would have lighter weight and not be so hot. Like he knew what to do. As they said, he's like a wilderness man. Like he hasn't been on the show since the year 2000. Can we just talk about that? Like, and here he is. And he said, like, when he's like, my kids didn't think I was going to win. It's like, yo, who the fuck thought he was going to win?
Not in the beginning. Definitely not. He was last on, well, not last, but kind of mid to low on most people's draft picks out of the guys, just because we just don't know what he's going to be able to do right now. Go ahead.
Let it be known. I picked him above many other men.
True. What, you picked him probably like the fifth man or so? Sixth man? Yeah. Which is right in the middle of all the guys. So yeah. You did well. Okay, fine. You picked it. I'm just kidding.
Let me hear this.
I don't want to hear any more bitterness from now on, because now we've all won and it's just an even playing field. So
but then, like 37 is really going to count, because like now it'll be 2 wins, which I'm actually really excited for, because my strategy worked, but the wild card of yes. Oh, I have to think about that one next time for sure. So going on with this challenge though, like I wrote down, Fanta, you must be living. This is when they're at the food. So just some notable moments at the food checkpoint. Is I loved when Anissa was dancing, like, okay, choo choo. Choo choo, like trying to like do anything to distract them from the nastiness what they were eating. Kellyanne, you've already mentioned her aggressive barfing. The fact that there was dinner music playing in the background, but it was also a symphony of like vomit sounds, like classic. This is like classical challenge barf music, which is amazing.
Oh, they one song. I can't remember who it's by, but it was like, I'm not sick, but I'm not well. Like Ray. I was like, oh my God.
So good. Darrel's commentary the whole way through, obviously hilarious. And even, Alton just like, I'm just going to treat it like it's a delicacy. Just like all the people's different approaches was just so, it was like cartoonish almost, just how different everybody was approaching this nasty food. How would you have approached it, Michelle?
I probably would have just tried to like plug my nose and just like do as much fast chewing as possible and just swallowing. I don't know.
I think Yap's like strategy was like, it was so mental. Like it was so mind over matter of just like, okay, I'm just going to do this like very methodically and not waste any time. Like I was blown away by Yes. I was blown away by him, because it was interesting how this whole challenge like ended up elapsing like 3 hours or more.
almost 3 hours.
And it was Jemmye and easy like toward the end, and I was just screaming at the TV. I was like, just finish. What are you guys doing? Why would you let this go for 3 hours?
Yeah, gross. What do you think though when TJ came into play? Because like Jemmye was gonna call it at one point. She couldn't eat it anymore. She really looked like death rolled over.
Yeah,
like bad though.
I sort of felt in that moment like I was just like, it was clear, and she said that like Easy was trying to make it seem like if she wanted to quit, he was going to be cool with it. I think in a way, while obviously trying to like cover his ass of like not quitting, also he was known to be kind of an asshole to his partners and to different people in the past, and so I think it was also showing that like he's not going to be that way. He's going to be super gentle, but it was too gentle, like to be like, oh, you can quit if you want. It's like, dude, all you've been saying is how much you just want to finish a final for the first time in your life. And you're just going to be like, it's fine if you want to quit. And she had to be the one to be like, you know what? I'm going to just one more bite. I'm just going to keep trying. And she was the one that got herself through that moment, in my opinion.
the disappointing eyes of TJ, calling TJ over and being like, you really want to quit? Like, and she's just like, she's probably like, I can't quit on my dad. Like, no, I can't quit on TJ. I think that also played into it as well. And I think she was also annoyed by the fact, she even kind of says it, that Easy's like, being like, if you want to quit, you can quit. I won't be mad. But he's really not in contention of winning. And she still is in there. Like, she still could potentially win depending on how things shake out. She's close enough to the front of the pack. So, I'm so happy that she didn't quit there, because it would have been unsatisfying, just because all these people kept on being saying, like, we have to get to the final, we have to get to the end, and then to quit at any sort of point when it's not like a broken limb, it's just kind of like weak sauce. So happy she stayed in. What did you think, Fanta, about their living arrangements or their sleeping arrangements?
I love that shit. So it was basically everyone had this like weird like ironing board, and then it had like this thing like that comes out, like this arm that comes out. So finally, when Jemmye and Big Easy were finished eating, then they get to the sleeping arrangement, and then whoever's not sleeping has to stand on this like little like platform on that arm.
It looked horrible.
To balance it out so they could be level. So they
could be level, and then whoever is sleeping just gets a sleeping bag. And it seemed to be very cold. Like Kellyanne like seemed like she was like freezing to death. And then if you step off of the platform, that person has to like get up. I mean, that person will like get up. And then they have to swap. So horrible. Like I don't even understand like how you could possibly get like any type of quality sleep at all. It was very funny to me that like Jemmye was like, because Big Easy was snoring when it was his turn to sleep, and Jemmye was like, yeah, it's like he's at like the Four Seasons right now. Like this. But it was interesting because he said, it was interesting how you see like this whole challenge, like Big Easy, Yes, and Ruthie, I guess, like they've had like rockier past, and Yes was like in and out of like foster care, and Big Easy like has kind of been poor his whole life. So it's interesting to see like how Big Easy's like, I mean, he was in a fraternity, but he's like, I've like learned how to sleep anywhere. And like to Yes, like it was just so cool to see that they were like, they've used their past and like the hardships and everything that they've gone through to be able to like get through these difficult situations, like, and make it look easy.
I mean, I could have slept there. I wouldn't have had a problem. I can sleep pretty much anywhere, and I think
it's sleep. It's the standing part I'd have fucking problem with. I can't stand at home. Like I stand for more than 20 minutes. I'm like, ugh, like you know what I mean. Like but sleeping, I can sleep anywhere.
Me too. We should be good partners for this one because I can stand and I can sleep because I worked retail when I was younger. Like there's 12-hour days all the time, and like obviously bartending and waitressing, like you never sleep, and then flight attending.
I just find standing and walking for a long time is easier than standing in one place. You know?
True. Yeah, it would be like falling asleep probably. Sophie says, yes, is good at keeping that big win a secret from us all these months. Yes. I mean, nobody really tipped off at all who was winning. But then again, I haven't really watched that much of Yes's, any Instagram. I didn't see that many things. And I was slightly tipped off for the finale, even though I had an inkling that he was going to do well from that scene with him and Kellyanne in front of the window. But I think it was NSFW. They just had a post that went up and saying like, oh, we're talking to Yes today. And this was yesterday at like 5 p.m. And I was like, oh, I wonder if they're talking about to Yes because he's the winner. You know what I mean? Like that's all. It didn't say the winner Yes. It just said that we're talking to him. And I was like, oh, for him to be getting like, oh, we're talking to him on NSFW, I wonder if he's the winner. So like I had it in the back of my mind that even more so now that he was potentially going to be the winner. But that's the one thing, I'm just kind of going on a tangent, but about streaming platforms that I don't like is that, you know, they were able to watch it, of course, because it was released at 3 a.m. or 12 a.m. PST. And so, yes, it's fair game because it's aired. but it wasn't even like 8 p.m. yet when this was. I saw the coming up next is Yes, and so I kind of got spoiled when it hasn't even been 24 hours since it's been released on a streaming site. So I was a little bit ticked off that it was so easy to spoil just because, and it was the same day that it was being released, and it wasn't even into the evening really yet. So just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, it was a tricky one because did you guys watch it on Wednesday?
No, it comes out Thursday.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I watched it like late Thursday night, but I was like, I can't be on I can't be on any social media at all because I almost I was just absentmindedly scrolling through Reddit and saw this thing, and I actually thought it was Jonna that one. Like I thought I saw a glimpse of Jonna, and I was like, no, I've been spoiled.
So yeah, I feel like if it's the streaming site, I think they need to put it at a prime time hour when it's released, just to regulate when people get spoiled. Because if it's after 8 p.m. that it airs, that's a little bit different because I can avoid stuff. But in the afternoon, when I'm gonna watch it in an hour, it's just kind of annoying, So I hope they fix that, but I don't think that they will. I don't. A little aside here. Are we doing Big Brother USA this summer? Absolutely. I'll be going live after the episode. And if either one of you ladies wants to be permanent on whatever one of the days, that would be amazing. But Fanta is boycotting Big Brother.
Yeah, I hate it so much. At most, I think that I would probably just watch the first 2 episodes or something and then
see how it is. Well, they're saying that they're going to have at least 50% people diversity in the cast, so that's going to be interesting.
I guess it's just the format in general of Big Brother now that I don't really like. Obviously, because I'm very old school on Big Brother. I miss the days where it was Will and where it was June, people like that who are just more strategic. And I hate the endless myriad of twists and comp beast. I'm not really interested in that. They're not real competitions. If I want to watch competition, I will watch
the challenge.
I agree. And I always end up tapering off. The last few US seasons have been disappointing for me. So I usually watch the first 2 episodes, try to get myself in. And then after that, if anything, if it seems like it's good, I'll read the feeds and then I'll watch live on Thursday night, or whatever the eviction night is. I'll watch the evictions live because then I can get surprised or whatever. But I have to be really into it. The last Big Brother US season that I watched every episode and always read the feeds that I was really excited about was probably Ian's season.
Yeah, it was a far. But you know what? Though also happened though. There was a time where it was really easy to get the feeds. I had CBS All Access, and I could use my own payment, and maybe I needed a VPN. I don't know, but it wasn't difficult. And then they stopped allowing Canadians to have access to CBS All Access, and so when I stopped being able to watch the feeds easily, then it kind of also it was actually at the same time where the show got worse. And I was like, what are they just trying to hide the fact the show got worse to all its fans? Yeah. And so it definitely changed the way I watch the show. And so now I rely more so on podcasts and people doing recaps, watching the live show or watching the episodes for the, just to see what goes on the diary room. But other than that, yeah, you're right. It hasn't really kept my attention that much. But since podcasting about it, I've been looking at it a little bit differently. And so I am interested to see if they kind of can follow suit with Big Brother Canada and have just a very successful season. So I'm hoping that they'll learn something and it'll go back to what we used to love about it. I don't really think so because I don't think they get it. But my fingers are crossed that it's going to be a good season. Very crossed.
This every year. I'm this
is the one, though. This is the one. They can't have Big Brother Canada have a better season than them, right? They can't. Sam, hi Sam. So God, I hope not. That's just my opinion. You mean you don't want to watch Big Brother US, Sam? Is that what we're talking about? Or was it something else? Not sure. Okay, so did you see that Paramount Plus bringing people that are banned from the regular challenge into a Future Stars season? I don't think so. Are we talking about like an Evan and
there was like an article where they like talked about that, and they were specifically like talking about the possibility of bringing Evan and Kenny back for all.
What did you think?
And there was
what
like
they say
of other people. It's nothing is for sure, but they're like considering it.
Well, is All Stars not part of the MTV Viacom umbrella? Because like I feel like
it must be related, because they would have, you know what I mean? Like it's part of the franchise. I feel like they would have ultimate say. Maybe.
Well, and I feel as though part of whatever was agreed upon was that they would never appear again. Like I feel like that's part of their contract, unless it was like a 10-year ban or something. Ooh,
that would be so funny. To be honest, I don't see them coming back anyway, just because I think that they would. It's a lot to like, and to deal with the fans that know.
Yeah.
Like they'll get so much hate for trying to come back that there's no way for them to redeem themselves by coming back at this point.
They would have to like go have like a press conference.
There'd have to be, like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not worth it for like just the sake of like being on TV and like a potential.
I actually really would love to see them though. I really wish that this didn't happen.
I don't need them. They can just bring back Landon.
I mean, I'll take Landon too. He's so cute.
I thought about that. I was like, do I like, because before I've been like rewatching the seasons, I was like, oh, like I would love to like have like Evan and Kenny back. And then I just like rewatched it and I was like,
you jerks.
Kenny is horrible.
Kenny's horrible. I've always hated Kenny.
Really horrible, but for some reason, like I could have a crush on him.
Evan isn't so bad, but he can also be like a dick. Evan isn't as bad, but Kenny was horrific. And I think that one thing that I keep forgetting to mention this, but in rewatching as many seasons as I have in the past couple of months, there's one type of confessional that I hate more than anything. And it would be like when there'd be like an elimination where like, or a challenge where the women would need to like go into mud, or they would need to like tackle or wrestle each other. And the guys would be like, yeah, this is a dream come true. Like two hot girls like wrestling in the mud. And that confessional, like, I wish I like took a tally of how many times like or Kenny said that. Like it was either one of those two. It was so many. And I'm like, okay, we fucking get it. Like, stop saying this. This isn't funny. It's not original. This is just gross. You just need.
I mean, that would probably be a category for our points then. If we're before, it's like, okay, so who's going to make a comment about the women mud wrestling, or oil wrestling?
I don't know.
But I think though they did that a lot more back then, and so I'm wondering if that's a little bit producer fed. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what do you think about the girls in the mud? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because they did more stuff like that back then.
Yeah,
oil and mud and wrestling and like, grab the ball in the mud.
Yeah, everything was just tactless and gross and misogynistic.
Well, that's then.
Like, and homophobic. Everything was just awful then. But I mean, I like rewatching that stuff and like seeing all the like prizes where they're like, these are sunglasses with an MP3 player inside of them.
Yay!
That fucking cracks me up.
Natalie says that Jordan said he will not return to the challenge if Tory is there. Yeah, I don't think that he likes whatever happens.
He said that on the podcast, and he was just like, I don't want that to be a storyline in any way, shape, or form.
I
wouldn't want to see it either because I'm sorry. Tory to me is kind of just fame thirsty, and I think that it wasn't she wasn't getting what she wanted from the relationship anymore. Like maybe it's like she wanted maybe more endorsements, or maybe she wanted this, and maybe she wanted Jordan to be along on that ride of being like the challenge couple and let's go do that. And like Jordan's not really into that. Like he's not into playing that like TV game, you know? And so I think that that's probably, she probably wasn't able to like feign liking him anymore because he wasn't like, they weren't on the same page with how they wanted to have their relationship be used to make the money. So that's probably why she jumped over to Fessy, but then at least she learned, hopefully, that he sucks, you know? Sophie says Jordan could do All-Stars 2 or 3 if he wants to. I don't know if I want to see him on that, to be honest.
I don't think he would.
Yeah, I don't think
Although, to be fair, he does respect the OGs and he's spoken highly of them. And I think he has that rapport. But I mean, I think it's not fair. He's too, he's not old enough.
Yeah, I really even feel like Bananas shouldn't even be on All-Stars.
Mm-mm. No, not. He's been on the main season too soon. I know that Darrel and Anissa have been on the main season recently, but or just now. But
Darrel has just been on it, and honestly, like he is an OG, and Anissa is an OG. Like Bananas is technically an OG as well, but he also was newer when the other OGs were
already started.
Like on the duel, it was his first season, and there was already other people who were more OG than him. So, and he mentions that he's like, I used to watch Beth, I used to watch this person, that person, you know. So
he's won enough times on the main season that I think that he can just leave. Like he'd probably do very well. And like I would rather him on it than many other people, you know what I mean? Like from like the current season. But I think that they have enough. They have like a couple hundred people that I'm sure that are chomping at the bit.
I just also prefer to have more challengers that aren't really up to snuff with like the new type of politics. I just find it to be much more interesting to watch. And even though like Anissa's like in the main season, it still doesn't really, it's still like the majority of people are still like kind of like trying to configure where they fit, why they're there, how it all works, realizing that their old politics or lack thereof don't really work. I find that just much more interesting.
And it's not just like a big mob that's like just with the numbers that's taking out people to ensure that they get to the end. So yeah, like that, I want a little bit that to play in, but I don't like these massive alliances. And I didn't even really love them back in the day either. But like I like the people in general and like how they interacted in the game better. So like I don't think I minded these big alliances, and it usually was vets versus rookies, you know. So like I was kind of like, well, they're vets, like they did their stripes or whatever. Like so yeah, I definitely agree with you, Fanta, though, that like I wouldn't want it to be that much new school politics. It's nicer to see old school people trying to play this new school game, but with old school people. I don't want people to like outplay them because they know how to run the numbers, you know?
Yeah. It's a different show. So
it's a very different show that I like a lot better. Whoa. Okay. CG says Coral is a different must for season 2. I would love for that to happen. That would be very fun. Tina is also a must for All-Stars 2. I would very much enjoy seeing that as well. No, you don't like Tina?
I hate Tina.
Hate Tina? I mean, I like
it would be entertaining to see her and like, but I think she's just so stupid. Like I just still can't get over the fact that she punched Beth like just for the sake of like punching her. And it'd be interesting to see like their reunion again.
But it was iconic. That's why she did it. She did it because it was hilarious.
It was so. I mean, I wanted.
She
it to
did
be
0 damage.
It was such a bad punch. And it was like this, but I wanted it to be like a nice smack. You know what I mean? Just be, like if she's gonna do it, like I thought it was really
like.
good.
Yeah, it was bad.
I don't know. I'd like to see her. Like, she got kicked off the show for that. She's probably like one of the only few women that
funny.
kicked off the show for fighting.
I mean, I don't love Tina either, okay? Like, she's a bully. She's not smart, but, like, she's so hilarious. Like,
oh.
So Stevie says, yes, too bad she got COVID and had to be replaced this season.
Oh.
Interesting.
Wow.
So Tina would have been on there. That would have been very, very interesting.
That would have been a very different season.
Chantele, hopefully you win next draft to be even with your girls since they've each won season each. No, Sophie, I won. Well, Michelle wasn't in the draft. So against Fanta, it was me and Fanta for season 30, Total Madness. I won. Then Michelle came in, but we already did the draft. And so she got to witness me winning that one. And then Michelle won the next one. And then now Fanta has won this one. So I guess in that sense, with all three of us participating, I have yet to have won. So that is true to a certain extent.
So get out of here. I'm just joking. Don't leave.
There are a lot of people that could have done All-Stars 1 that would have been perfect. Yeah, I mean, I think that they what they needed to do is just not choose anybody that they were planning on choosing for 37, and they're pretty much good. Like, anybody that's on that short list for 37 or 36 or whatever, like, we don't want them. We want anybody else.
exactly.
No, sorry, I don't want to drag this up, but before we continue, so I know Casey was on the short list as well.
I'll take her.
I could actually do without her.
I mean,
but
Casey,
also,
10, 15 years later, like, she's
yeah,
going to be an adult woman. Like, she got berated by Wes. And so she's probably going to want to prove herself. She was always considered a layup. You know, she was always, like, never really respected. People just throw her in, talking down to her. Go ahead.
You know who I want to see is Tyler.
yes.
Tyler, Landon. I want to see Ryan. I want to see. I don't want to see him, but I think Brad will be on All Stars season 2 probably, just because like he's like
still in it.
He's and you can tell he wants to because he posts a lot online.
I wouldn't mind seeing Johanna. I know you guys. I think you guys don't like Paula.
She won't come. Johanna won't come back.
No.
I don't think so.
I would see Paula. I'd see
for sure.
Evelyn,
Emily,
Rachel.
Obviously, Rachel.
Oh God, I would die for Rachel.
Of course.
I also love Jen, who never won. Remember Jen?
Jen would be nice, and even with like her old showman's, what's that cutie's name? Pete.
Oh,
Pete. Though I think I told you, but I saw his like Instagram. It was private, and I didn't ask to be whatever. But he looks like might be like kind of like a meathead now, like kind of like big thick neck and like tribal tattoos on big arms. You know.
I saw that. Jen makes me cringe, but like, okay, I guess.
But her eyebrows might be better now.
They ain't. I looked at her and stuff.
Oh, sure. She hasn't grown her eyebrows in? Come on, that's so 2000.
Kind of, imagine that many decades of plucking. I feel like I'm still suffering from that. Like, my biggest regret is that I ever like plucked, waxed, whatever. But I would also take a Susie.
Yeah, she'll never come back, but I love Susie.
Oh, Susie. Wait, me? Well, Susie and
I literally read an interview where she talks about how the moment everything changed for her was
her son.
Was the rivals thing that happened with Sarah, because why I told you Bananas was caught with Adderall at the final, and he was just fined $5,000. But that Adderall is what kept him awake longer than her overnight and got him the extra points. And that's the only reason that he beat Sarah in the end and took all the money from her. And she still got nothing, even though he was caught with Adderall. So she said that after that, she just decided she would never come back to the show. And she's like done with it.
But is this All Stars though? Like, All Stars is a little bit different of an animal here. And I think a lot of people that said that they would never do it again, I think could be convinced with the shorter format, a lot of money, with people that they like or potentially like. And I also really feel like with Yes being the winner of this first season, so he Nobody knows who Yes is. He's from 20 years ago, was the last time he made an appearance on these shows. And he was still able to come in and win $500,000. I think that's very enticing for people that haven't been on the show for a long time. It's like, that's like a 1 in 22 chance of winning $500,000 like in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And probably getting an appearance fee. Like, I think that there could be some easy convincing.
I agree. I mean, if you know, Mark's saying that there's 100 people who have been like, we want to do this. That's a lot of people in the challenge universe. Like, it begs the question of like, who is on that list?
Oh my God. I can't wait for it to, I even want to hear the speculated list. Like that is even would be exciting to me, is like hear who has gotten a call or who's being in the mix. Like that is so interesting. So Sophie says Kellyanne could come back on the regular season, that she isn't that old to do it. Do you think she would do it?
No. I read it. Sorry. I read a thing she said. She's quoted as saying like, yeah, I'll stick with the people that are my friends and that smile and that are treat each other with respect. Like literally is like, I'm not going to go on a seat. Why would I? She said if she came back, it would only be All Stars, which is great. But I think she could still do well in the other seasons if she wanted. But.
And you know, she could be enticed with a nice appearance fee. You know, like we know that Bananas and CT, they probably all get like 50, 60, 70, 80,000, $100,000, like who knows, but like probably a lot of money just to come on the show. So if she got a lot of, you know, fandom from doing All Stars, I wouldn't be surprised if they sweeten the deal a little bit to get her on the main season. They need some good girls with some good energy and like that want to be there and to fight, you know? Like I love myself Nani, but she's a little bit played out. A little bit.
Yep.
So Mark said that they were going to ask him to host All Stars if they couldn't get TJ to do it. TJ, of course, was going to do it though. And Mark was only supposed to be the producer, not a challenger. Really? I feel like he was like really wanted to play. Oh no. Okay, so I'm so disappointed that Nom dropped out after the second quarantine. Oh, that's so sad. Yeah, I did hear that actually. I did hear that. So let's get back to this challenge, or a little aside here. So I thought it was hilarious though that Alton was kind of he seemed like he didn't care to win anymore. He kind of was just like there for Jonna. He says when they were he's just gonna let her sleep because she thinks of her like a little sister. And I thought it was hilarious that he's so done with Yes and his fake positivity and Kellyanne. Like he was just so annoyed with everybody. I was like, Alton, I like this kind of curmudgeon-y version of you.
That was
I think it's
very funny.
His lover wasn't there anymore, and his best friend, apparently, Derrick, wasn't there anymore. So what was he going to do?
It was so funny because you think of Alton as the type of person that's like always like positive and everything. And I love that he just like called, who did he call her again?
Yes, in his fake positivity.
I was sent to a different
It was so perfect. He was so angry. So they all managed to stay up overnight or to sleep and whatever. They get through it. And CJ shows up on a horse in sort of, I'm assuming, traditional Argentinian garb. And he says that he's been on a horse before, but Michelle, Fanta, do you think that TJ is well-versed on the horse?
I came back to the room and then I was again sent to another room. That was so hard because who was like Jemmye or something was like, have you been on a horse before? And he was like, oh yeah. And then the horse just started to like meander off and he was like, whoa.
He looks so like trying not to be terrified, but like
he looked so out of place on there. Yeah, it was great.
Like, what is it called? The gaucho?
Mm-hmm.
That he was wearing. Like I was like, what is happening?
Do you know what it was reminding me of? I just watched, was it Rivals 3? I can't remember. Yeah, Rivals 3, where they had the scenes of all the random people that were like the guy on fire and the guy with the ladder, and like they had to remember the overnight challenge. Like I was wondering, like, is it gonna be something like that? Are they gonna have to remember like some poem that TJ says on the horse, and like it's gonna be part of the challenge later? So that's what it was reminding me of.
Oh, that's
for
funny.
sure.
Forgot about that. That was a fun challenge.
But definitely hilarious. So the end of this final is going to be basically a sprint or a walk or a hike up the mountain. But the difference is that whatever points you get, you're going to get double the points. So it does really open up the door for most people to win here. Obviously, depending on how things shake out, if you get into first place, chances are you could pretty much win. So I thought that was interesting. But Michelle, you were a little bit upset by the fact that there was no puzzles or anything with this last track.
I was just saying that, like, I understand why it was just a race at the end, because they often do that at the end, and they've just had this horrific night. Like, there's not much they could do. However, I just feel like the way that this run was, I just wish that there had been some sort of puzzle or mind game or something they had to do halfway up the mountain. Or
where's the math? More math.
Because or there was something they had to like work out so they don't get lost. Like I still think Yes would have won regardless, but I just think that like having something like that just gives a little bit of a different element to it, because it like didn't really matter. Like, at that point, because first place was going to get 10 points, it was sort of like, okay, so out of the people who are in the top 4 or 5, whoever wins. I don't know. But in the end, it was fine. I just wanted like one other little
something else
of
than
something.
it just being like this kind of the same thing.
Because then it was obvious what was going to happen. Well, between Darrel and him, I was like, one of them's gonna pretty much
win. So Darrel takes off like he kind of usually does, just to kind of like set the pace, like get people scared. And Alton taking a completely different approach. I mean, maybe he just felt that there was no chance for him to win, but he was just like kind of like strolling, like he like it was Sunday and he's just going to do like a walk around the park. But Yes is kind of like, oh, like he must know something that I don't know, whatever, about like how to be running this type of the final like this, because I thought it was a really bad strategy for Darrel to take off like that. And I was surprised that he didn't use his knowledge to know that you kind of want to be right behind the person in front.
Yeah, I think he was just like way too eager. Like he was just like, shit, I'm behind. And like, Yes was just really causing him duress. And he was just like, I got it, like just running.
I think that also they don't tell them how far it really is. Mm-hmm. So it's stupid because it's up a fucking mountain. So it's going to get harder and harder as it goes. You're going uphill. Like that's just the T. But I think that, adrenaline. And he was just like, fuck, like I need to get as far ahead as I can. Because it's the only way I'm going to get the points. Because he was only like 1 or 2 points away from Yes at that point. So it was literally like who was going to win was going to win. That was just it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Hi, Norma. So Norma says, I'm watching all your season 35 recaps. I can't wait to see your recap on the Jay and Rogan elimination. I think we talked about that for like an hour, probably.
Yeah, I'm really pissed. Give yourself a lot of time for that episode.
Pour yourself a drink and buckle up.
Yeah, we were not happy about how that went down at all. That's fun, though. Definitely fun to hear. We can't wait to hear your thoughts. Unless ladies over here aren't available, hopefully we can do like the reunion recap to cap it all off next week. So if you watched it by then, Norma, please let us know how you found our recap on that episode. Okay, but I loved this soundtrack at this little part here. It was a little bit of Ricky Martin. Here we go. Ole, ole, ole. I'm just like, give me some Ricky Martin. I don't necessarily love Ricky Martin, but I loved him in this moment. I was like, perfect song. Thank you.
I was shocked that I still knew the words.
What, ole, ole, ole? That's all. I don't even know.
It just repeats over and over again.
So Easy and Anissa are kind of in the back of the pack. They both know that they don't really have a shot at winning here. Especially Easy, he doesn't have the points. He has maybe 4 points. Anissa has more points, but like there's no way that she's going to be able to catch up to Darrel, and it's just not possible. And so they're kind of motivating each other to like keep going. It was probably pretty unfortunate that they're kind of that they didn't have an opportunity. There's no way that they were going to be able to win in a foot race. And that's kind of what you're saying here, Michelle, is that like they were never going to get to the top of the mountain first without having some sort of equalizer. So I really am happy that they both finished. But do you guys think that this is going to help Anissa in the main season? She's always kind of battling with the Fessies and the Kyle and the Josh. Everybody's saying that she's not someone they want to run a final with. Do you think that this helped her or hurt her in her future main season challenges?
I don't think it helped her for main challenges. I think she shouldn't do main challenges anymore. I'm seeing a comment down here from Norma saying that like Anissa said she doesn't have time to train. And it's like, yeah, because you do every season. Take one season off, train for 2 months straight with money that you get from all your appearance fees and everything, because obviously she's someone that they pay a good fee. Otherwise she wouldn't keep coming back. And then train, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It seems on her Instagram like she's been training more recently. Like there was a lot of like gym things. So
how much where does she need to train?
Well, it's an endurance thing, right?
Endurance.
It doesn't have anything to do with her weight or whatever. It has nothing to do with that at all. It's just an endurance thing. Like you have to be able to just continuously keep going, but she just gasses out so easily.
Like, case in point is Jonna. Like Jonna ended with the same amount of points as Kellyanne in the end. And she never stopped. And she's not some tiny little girl, but she had the drive. And it's probably because maybe she goes for runs at home or whatever. I don't know why she found this level of endurance and drive, but it's just something different.
She also wasn't she hasn't spent as many years out of shape as Anissa has. So as far as I can remember, before she had her children, she was still quite petite and not that she was like a big gym rat or anything like that, but like she was a little bit more fit, would say. And so she probably had to lose weight once after having her first child. And so she probably knows not had to, but like she probably did. And then after having her second, she probably did start training and start running again, but like the weight obviously takes however long it takes to come off. And so maybe she has been training, but definitely more than Anissa has been. And for a lot longer, I think that Anissa hasn't been training than we'll say Jonna has, you know?
Yeah. And I just think there's I don't see there's no excuse for that even more. Anissa has been doing nothing but challenge after challenge after challenge. And I love Anissa. Take a season off then. Don't have excuses for me. It's the challenge. I don't want to hear that. I just want to hear.
He was jump rope for 2 hours a day, which is hard, but watch.
If you're going on this show,
yeah.
I get that the All Stars was good because she got to complete a final and show that, and she got to finally do that. But I wouldn't keep putting myself in that situation unless I thought I could actually win. And she even knows she can't win. She's always just I just want to make it to a final. If you want to win, do what you need to do to win. Yeah. And then if it's beyond your capacity, it's beyond your capacity. You're not going to win.
And I think she knows now that narrative has now reached its end, because even at the end of this, when she was okay, I made it to the final and I finished the final. I've done what I've always wanted to do. I didn't win, obviously, but I have nobody but to blame but myself. So even just from a production point of view, she can't go on to the main season and say, I just want to make it to a final. That's
now she has to say she wants to win, and then she has to come in different.
And yeah, exactly. Both of you are right. I agree. I think she should take a season off and just work
come
on
back jacked. Like,
Yeah.
wouldn't that be badass? And she'd be like, oh, you have a problem with me? Like, A, you can't match me in an elimination, and B, like, I'm going to the final and I'm going to win it. Like, I would so be behind Anissa, like coming back physically, like fit and winning a challenge. Like, I think that would be a really awesome story for her. Maybe it'll be her 20th season, like Bananas. Maybe she's saving it. Let's hope that she's building her arc here and she has a few more seasons to go, so she can be like, on my 20th season, I'm also going to win for my first time in a long time. So Sophie's wondering how long it will be before Paramount announces a second season of All Stars. What do you guys think?
I think it'll be once they actually film it. So like we'll know from like the T pages when they start actually filming it. I think they're probably in the process of like casting. I think once they actually like confirm that it's filming, and there's, especially with this whole 37 quarantine shabacle and them having to recast a gazillion people, they don't want to announce it until it's like for sure happening. Cause like they announced this season and it was just like, whoa, it's all here. It's fucking coming, you know? I think they're going to wait.
I'm just sorry looking at this comment. It's supporting you here, Fanta. So Brian, hi Brian. Okay, as a man who is attracted to women, why do you want to see women in mud so badly?
Doesn't make any sense to me. That is so funny. It's so true. I'm like, I've never wanted to see women like mud wrestle. Nothing like that's like more like there's nothing more revolting.
Maybe oil. Oil's kind of sexy, but
no.
mud. Oil, at least it's slippery, so like that's kind of like a little bit more.
Even still, like I don't really like. I'm like I don't find that like attractive.
Natalie says Tina had COVID, and Beth said that she was glad that Tina wasn't on this season. I mean, I think that Tina would have grown up, and like Beth did realize that a lot of the people that she had all these beefs with didn't have it with her anymore. And so, with her friendship with Jemmye and stuff like that, she wasn't expecting to have, etc. I think that they would have been okay. Like, come on, you're like in your late 30s. Like, I just don't see the hatred for Beth, this like nice older woman. Like. I don't think so. I hope not, but you never know. Sam says, I feel like they would give Bananas all the confessional time in All Stars and it would piss me off. Yeah, do you know what? I don't want him narrating.
I don't want Bananas.
I love him.
All Stars.
I like him, sorry.
His confessionals really like aren't even actually that great.
No.
Like if
They're just better than everybody else's, though. That's what the problem is.
Like he has more of obviously like he's got more like hosting capabilities and like he knows how to drive story and everything, but
he's not that funny anymore.
He's not that funny.
Yeah. Hi, speak of the truth. So hey ladies, I'm late, but I'm here. Just had to say I cannot stand Casey, but I'd be interested to see if she has grown. Exactly. Thank you, Sophie. Thank you.
Also, we want to see Kahada for sure.
Oh, I would love to see a little bit of Kahada. I love like his whole southernness with like when he has his on and off stuff with Nani, and he was just like they broke up or something. Then she came back just looking all beautiful, like how he was saying it. I can't remember his exact wording. I'm just like, you're just so cute, Kahada. I would love to see him back. I heard that Jamie Chung was talking about season 2. I didn't watch there was something on Instagram and I didn't watch the video, but I saw that she was in a video and somebody asked her. Go ahead.
Yeah, they asked if she was like, oh, I've watched it all. Like the interview was like, so what do you think about? And she's like, I've watched it all. And she's like, I love it. And she's like, I really did want to do it, but she's like, I wanted to like make it like more geared towards charity. And she's like, I've been lucky enough, like I don't have to really do this. But I was like thinking at the same time, like I watched it and I was like, then just give the money to charity, bitch. Yeah. Make that narrative. The whole thing doesn't need to be geared towards that.
Well, and
exactly.
Well, and she could be saying that that's what she wants to do it for, and she probably won't win because of it, because people will be like, well, if you're too rich you're giving it to charity, you won't win. But like,
and that's the challenge.
That's fine.
The challenge.
I would rather it be like that than a Chance versus Stars type vibe.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even watch the champs versus pros.
You didn't? It's still like decent.
I watched a couple of them. Like I watched the one with like Brooke Hogan and Lil Romeo was in it or whatever.
And what's her name's sister? Was it that one? Cardi B's sister. Can't remember her name right now.
Yeah, I think I'm here. But yeah, the stakes aren't high enough for me.
Yeah, it's true. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to have the for charity for the challenge unless it's another one-off like Chance versus Stars.
How shitty is that? Just to say like, it's for charity. The stakes aren't high enough for me.
Well, because I want people to be doing it for themselves. That's what creates the drama. That's why we watch TV shows, because we want to see like people that are fighting for somebody. Like they have a cause. There's a through line. There's intention. When it's for charity, like, yes, it can be. People can have like a lot of passion behind certain charities, absolutely. But if it's not for them specifically, like not everybody's going to be having as much like desperation and need to change their lives and change their own family lives. It's just a little bit removed. So I get why, but yeah, she can come on and give her money to charity, but nobody's going to let her win. So Sophie thinks that with every draft, the amount should go up $50. I don't want. What if I lose?
I mean, once we're getting like paid the big bucks for being here, then like sure we can up the amount.
I don't know if you saw it, guys, but I started posting little short videos, and I had one short that I posted about Elon Musk, and it's at like 1.2 million views, and in the last like week I have like an extra 1,000 subscribers. So like it's gone up there because of like my one Elon Musk post. I don't know if they care about this content, but
maybe they will care. Okay, they will care. And you know what? You just have to keep with the current stuff. Keep it going.
So yeah, I have my first viral video on this channel, so that's awesome. So
I need to go watch it after this.
It's 60 seconds. It's very easy. So Natalie says, Alton, what a fine chocolate man. What a fine wine. He is really fine. He's definitely very handsome. I was like, you same age as me, or maybe you're younger. I think same age as me. And I'm just like, oh, I had a crush on you back in the day, but I didn't want to interfere with him and Irulan. But like, he's so cute. And I did see in a sneak preview of the reunion that I think it's Maria asks him like, well, it's rumored that you were married at the time. And I'm like,
I can't wait. And it just showed Jisela's face like, and I'm like, I'm sure that was placed specifically but I'm excited to see what it was. He was there, right? At the reunion, Alton?
I don't 100% know, but
I didn't see. But anyways, he'd have to be in some capacity on Zoom or in person or whatever. But
I feel like he was there.
Yeah, I'm excited for them to finally address it because I want to know. Like, I did hear he was in another situation with a kid and stuff. But maybe they weren't together. Like, maybe he'll give us the answer that we need, or maybe it's a different situation. We'll see.
I'm very interested to hear about that. Not that I want anybody to be home wrecking or whatnot, but it's part of the storyline. Sometimes they're just characters in a TV show that we like to watch. We forget that there's real people in real life. So hopefully nobody's gotten hurt, but I want to know what the tea is. I'm sorry, I'm nosy. So if we can see half the cast of All Stars 1 come back for possible season 2 with new All Stars. Yeah, do you know what? Like, I really enjoyed everybody on this so much that even if, okay, I don't want this to happen, but even if they just brought the same people back, I'm not even mad at that.
I know.
I'm not even mad at the same people coming back for another season. So that says a lot about how much I really, really enjoyed this whole experience.
Yeah, it was just so fun to watch. I haven't felt that way about main season in years.
No, I mean, we had some really exciting episodes for 30
moments.
Yeah. And I definitely we're all getting behind some of these episodes and we're really excited. And like some of it was epic, some of it like, adrenaline rush, but this one made me feel good. Mm-hmm. Like it just like, I felt great after watching it. I was just so excited to see what was going to happen next. I couldn't get enough of it. And like that's what I love. And so that's what the difference is for me. It's just so fun. At least after next week, you girls are on a break until Big Brother 23 on July 7th. I know, and it's going to be Love Island at the same time, so then I'm going to be super busy again. And also, The Bachelorette should be starting up very soon as well. So June 7th, Tanya and I will be talking about
Chantele
The Bachelorette.
has to take a break, Sophie. Like, Chantele podcasts every hour of every day.
I mean, it is quarantine, and usually I'm working every hour every day, so I'm just trying to fill up my life. I think something like Rivals 3 elimination, Chantele just brought up, would have been cool for the final. How did that go again? Rivals 3 elimination. Oh, where they had
the wine girls. Oh,
or is it right before when they brought them to do the 3 stages? Was it that? And then one person went home? Is that the right one?
It's with it's like the wine barrels, and it was like
3 puzzles. Was that one?
There was, yeah, and then it was like
Ronnie went home.
Wasn't it Dario?
Oh, you're talking about Free Agents.
No, this is right. Or is he talking about Free Agents? Free Agents.
Free Agents was the one that had the puzzle pyramid.
Okay, so that was on with Laurel. So no, I'm thinking about with they went to, I can't remember where they flew to, and Naya was kicked off for grabbing at Jordan's pants. Was that Rivals? It must have been. And then they brought back Teresa.
No, that was X's.
Oh, X. Just kidding. I don't remember right now which one's which. Rivals 3.
But regardless, this person is talking about something that you brought up earlier.
I know.
So
I'm trying to
be
remember
something
now,
that you already talked
What did I say, though? I don't remember.
I don't remember. I don't remember what we talked about 2 minutes ago.
I forgot. Okay, I like having a bunch of puzzles, riddles, and clues along the trail to finish line and a puzzle at the end to finish. It would have been a nice equalizer, 100%. Maybe it was about the puzzle equalizer or something. Like the stage, I don't know. To be here this season 37, it's going to be going for 8 months. Joking. Sophie, I would believe you. So nobody felt bad for Anissa. She said on the podcast that she doesn't have time to train. Oh, right. That's what you're saying, Michelle. Well, make some time. It's it's your job, you know? And you know what I realized, because I've been quite lazy in my last year that I've been home I have been working because it's been COVID, and we are in a stay-at-home order still in Ontario. But I've been calling it the 20 pounds. And so I was like, okay, this is done. So I started walking, 10,000 steps a day, and I'm starting doing 1,000 skips a day. You can find the time. But before I was like, oh, I can't do it because I was being lazy. But I had to switch a gear in my head to say that I need to go out and walk to do it.
And I mean, let's be real here. I don't exercise. However, and I'm out of shape. However, I'm not going on the challenge.
No. Okay, so remember I brought up my my idea that having maybe a couple season in, having kind of old school fans being kind of the fresh meat. So I think that the name should be Fine Aged Meat. And that would be the name of the season, where they're going to be drafting. You're not into it, Fanta? Finely aged meat?
No.
Finely aged meat?
Well, you know.
What?
Is it a fresh meat? My joke was stale meat, but somebody said that sounds gross. So I was like,
well, stale meat's better than finely aged meat.
Not by much.
Why don't you call it fresh meat, the over 40 club, or something like that?
Maybe. Okay, I'll go back to the drawing board there. You don't want that. Okay, dokie.
Fresh meat seniors.
Seniors. Well, yeah, maybe. So Sophie says it seems like Anissa and Darrel forgot double agents happened, even though they filmed that sometimes before they filmed the Challenge All-Stars. They didn't really talk about double agents at all, or that they were on that experience. I don't know.
mean, there was a couple mentioned, like Darrel at one point was like, yeah, I just got off double agents, almost made it to the end, like didn't get to do the final, and now here I am, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Disney. So Anissa isn't ready for a final. Exactly. I was happy that you got a chance to be in one after such a long time. Exactly. So that narrative is done. What's your new storyline, Anissa? If you're coming back on the show, I want the storyline being I trained to come in and win. That's it. Other than that, I don't want to see an Anissa storyline unless there's like a love affair that's happening or something. That's it.
I mean,
whoa, Suri from Survivor said the same thing about training on our EW interview, but said that she regrets not training more. Exactly. It's helpful in these physically competitive shows to not be voted out because you suck, like on Survivor, you know what I mean? Like if you're not helping your team, if you're the one that makes your team lose, people are like finding an excuse to vote you out. You don't want that. And then if you want power to be able to control your fate a little bit, you want to be able to be physically competitive. So it's just, there's no reason, I don't think, for people not to figure out how to train, because it's if they want that paycheck anyways. I hope we get more forgotten favorites like Yes and Teck for season 2 of All Stars. Absolutely. I think that with Yes winning, they're going to go back and get some of these super old school people that'd be like, oh, I didn't think that would be possible for me to win in like this new era of the challenge. Like, but maybe it is. And I think that we're going to see some of our old, even people that like Montana and like, you know, people from like old, like early 2000 days will be coming back, you know?
Totally.
Montana. Wow.
I just recently saw it was the Gauntlet 2, I think it was.
Want me back. I would love to see Brandon.
What about Kina?
I don't care about Kina.
I really liked her. I thought she was really annoying.
So I couldn't remember her properly when Michelle and I were talking about the duel. And I was like, how did I feel about her? And then I saw her as the captain in the Gauntlet 2, and I'm like, oh, I didn't like her. Right. She annoyed me. I remember she was just so like self-righteous and kind of high and mighty. And I was just like, not a fan. And now I remember why. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'd like to see how she does now. See what she's all about. And I would have loved to see like Akara and what's her name that said that she wouldn't do it? Blondie. We just talked about Susie and Cara, if they're still friends, if they both came back for a season, like, wouldn't you love to see that? Yes. Yeah. Okay, so with the amount of All-Stars that they didn't get for this season, they could fill out 2 or 3 seasons or 4 seasons of All-Stars, depending on the people they might get. Absolutely. I think that they have tons and tons. I don't know who this is. I saw the Survivor rumored new cast on Martin Holmes' website. Oh, I saw a few people, and I saw that there's a Chantele from Toronto. Rude.
What were you doing? You missed.
Rude.
You missed.
Rude.
You don't want to be on Survivor, Chantele.
I want to win $1 million, though.
Yeah, that's true.
I could never do Survivor because food.
Food runs my life.
It runs my life. Like
1,000%.
There's no way.
Speak to me when I haven't eaten for 2 hours and I'm a monster. Like literally.
I can do it, I think. Like I can starve and I can have no sleep.
I have some friends that I know that would crush Survivor and like food would not be a thing for them, but I'm like, there's no way.
There's no way.
I'm okay with it. I don't know. I mean, I love food and I love eating and I love being gluttonous, but I kind of like when you switch your brain to like not like there's something interesting about being able to control the need for food, the desire for food. You know what I mean? So like, I think that challenge would be interesting for me. I think I would not like it, but like I would be okay with it. I think. I mean, the hardest part I think would be like diving into like down to the ground, like unhook a lock under the water. Like that would be the hard part, and which I would train for, guys. I would train for it. I'd be like
on an empty stomach.
I'd be so skinny. Would Jemmye go back to the main challenge? I don't think so. She really loved the people that she was with on All Stars. I don't think she would. Oh, are Casey and Taylor over? Okay, you guys know all the gossip. Yes. Okay, so Casey and Nany are going to be back on single, both of them. Interesting.
Also, I'll throw this at you. I saw a rumor that in the current season, the 37, that Fessy hooks up with multiple people, but one of them person that he's hooking up with is Amanda.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Which is so
no.
remember like in the main season we were talking about how Amanda would never, and she literally does.
But she's fresh off a breakup and a kid and stuff, so I feel like she just needed to
Well, like, oh man.
Or maybe it's all part of her plan. Like, who knows? I'm gonna wait to see.
I mean, I don't want them to be like the aggressive duo. You know what I mean? Like yelling and fighting everybody and like her standing up for him. Like I don't know if I want to see like your face, Michelle. You're like, yeah, I don't really want to see that. Okay, hold on. Speaking the truth, All Stars, fine seasoned meat.
No, sorry. It's not gonna work for me.
Kobe, All Stars, Kobe beef. Okay, I don't know why but I like the cast members from Survivor on the challenge, but not Big Brother. Me too. I don't know what it is. I think it's maybe because on Survivor they had like a cushy, or like they don't have a cushy life like they do on Big Brother. So like I don't know why. What do you think, Michelle?
On the meaning they don't like people from Big Brother on the challenge?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's because people on Survivor are used to having to deal. If you've done Survivor, you've dealt with like the elements, and so there's just like a different level of things that you will accept and your level of commitment. Whereas if you've been on Big Brother, you could be just as good, but you could also be someone like Fessy who was just plucked. You want to be a model, you want to be an actor, you want to be a this or that. You're not really interested in like putting in the work. And that's a lot of Big Brother people. And they just want clout and they want whatever. Now, that's not everyone, but I feel like that's the majority compared to Survivor.
Also, I agree with that completely. And also in terms of the gameplay of Survivor, it changes a lot more frequently than Big Brother does. And it's very difficult even still to have voting blocks with like groups of people because everybody always assesses like in their voting block in Survivor, oh, I'm on the bottom, we need to flip.
Every single week, there's a flip every single time.
And that's what makes it much more interesting. So it makes those types of players much more tactical. So when they go on the challenge, it's just much more interesting to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Definitely agree. The people that they've chosen anyways, also from Big Brother, as you said, Michelle, like they're doing it for clout, but they also like aren't really good game players and they're not really that great like physically. And so even if they're not good physically on Survivor, they've had to do difficult physical things on Survivor. So they could suck at it, but they had to try climbing the cages and they had to crawl under like sand and whatever. Like they've had to do some physical things that are not necessarily the same as the challenge, but more in alignment than like mini putting on Big Brother or whatever, you know? So yeah, I think that they're just it's more geared for Survivor people, I would say, for the most part. I do want just to finish up this episode before we finish up this podcast. So Yes does something that I think was probably the defining point in his game, is that he decides to strip down to not overheat and that he would be able to be quicker and potentially overtake Darrel. So Darrel is still way ahead and he hasn't seen Yes in a while. And I think he probably started to gas out a little bit, not even realizing that he's kind of slowing his pace down because he wasn't chasing anybody. And that's why I think that it was a bad strategy for Darrel, because Yes wasn't going to be intimidated by you taking off and going ahead because he's like, I know how this goes. Like, I'm gonna strip down. I'm not gonna overheat. I'm gonna keep a strong pace. And Darrel calls it. It's like he sees him coming like he's on an elliptical with his walking sticks, and he did. Like, he was just coming. At that moment is when I knew for sure that Yes was going to be winning this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and oh my God, when he passes Darrel and he starts trash talking him, like, you're just like, what? What are you doing?
Wow.
And like, Darrel just like couldn't even say anything back. Oh,
no. I felt bad though because I really wanted Darrel to win one. He was talking about like it's for his family and like, you know, the reason why he was doing this show and he had the time is because their business had suffered a big hit because of COVID. And so like, you know, we want to see him do well. But I also, you know, like Yes deserves it as well. Like he's fighting for a family. And so he ends up crossing the finish line first, and then Darrel is second. Third is Mark. Fourth is Alton. Fifth is Kellyanne. And then I stopped writing it down. I'm assuming then probably after would have been Jonna and then maybe Ruthie. Anyways, not sure. But with Alton was fourth.
oh yeah.
So with that though, so when adding up all the points together, Michelle, you brought this up already, but I'll just reiterate it. So Jonna and Kellyanne end up tying for third place. I don't know if they told the 24 points they had combined, or each of them. And second place is Darrel with 29 points. And Yes wins the Challenge All-Stars Season 1 with 31 points. One thing I loved about this ending was when everybody crossed that finish line. When Jonna crossed, I really wanted her to win, but I cried because like it is such an accomplishment that they did together with all these people. I love the finale. I love that even though, you know, Jemmye was super tired and is still like in that zombie glazed over look, she just crosses that finish line. Like they all crossed. And so I was thoroughly pleased with how this ended, even though I would have preferred a little bit more of Darrel won, but very happy with how things went down. Fanta, you have something to say? You're agreeing?
Well, yeah, I mean, I would have honestly been happy if anybody won. Like, I really quite love all of those personalities. And I love how Jonna was able to recreate her story arc. I mean, Jonna was treated very poorly in her early seasons, and she was so young, and she had to deal with like all of the Zach. Like, for her to be able to come back and not have, you know, a group of men disrespecting her because she's not super jacked and you know, that sort of thing, and for her to be able to perform and not bat an eyelash after eating 2 Carolina Reapers, and just to be able to do that, like, it looked like she barely broke a sweat. Like, it was just like, she is a strong woman and she's so capable. And I just love seeing this type of environment for these people as opposed to the main season, because it really makes them shine, and they just feel better about themselves as people. It's not something that's hurting anybody. We still get the hookups, we still get the drama, we still get the arcs and the story. And I love, you know, they can really keep this going on for a long period of time where all these people come and redeem themselves. That is absolutely something that everybody wants to see.
Yes, I agree. I loved it. You did too, Michelle.
Yeah, of course. I agree. I can't even speak more to that because I agree with all of that. Like, it was so redeeming for everyone. Jonna, like, she was like, I don't care if she was like thinner before. She was like a nobody. She was like someone who was never going to win, who was shit, who got treated like shit, you know. Same with Big Easy. But I mean, that was a little different. But like, yeah, all these people had something to prove. Mm-hmm. And like, Yes to win, being in his 40s, still like that performance could have beat any age because he had the endurance to go through all of it, like, you know, and all of them working together as partners was also great. Like, I was really teared up of just knowing how well they all did. And Yeah, it was amazing.
Oh, and I loved how Mark was like kind of greeting everybody at the finish line. Like he's so like the ambassador. He's the mayor of the challenge, you know. Like, they say the first person on like in the jury on Survivor is the mayor of Ponderosa. Like I feel like he's the mayor. Like he's like, just make sure everybody has a good time. You're the winner. Let me raise your arm here. Like he just wants everybody to have a great time. And I really love that about Mark, for sure. And I also love that Yes says that he visualized for this whole time himself winning. And he finally got crowned the king of the mountain. So I thought it was awesome. Love this season. Love talking about it with you guys. It made me go back and watch like 10 seasons in a row. Like, gosh, I love the challenge. And there's just a few more comments, and then that'll be it until, I guess, next week, where we talk about all the gossip, which is fun. Okay, what season of the challenge should I introduce my family or friends to start them off because they have never heard it before? Do they watch Big Brother and Survivor? But I think Fresh Meat 1 might be where to start. It's kind of old, so like it might be a little bit clunky, but I think that all the major players start coming out there moving forward. If you, I think that's where you could start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you think, Fanta? I was going to say
only if you like. The only reason why you would watch before that would be if you like really watched Real World and Road Rules. Otherwise, it's just kind of like neither here nor for you.
Like you'd see maybe an Anissa, you'd see Mark earlier on, you'd see Beth, but then nobody else really before there continued on that I can think of off the top of my head. You know, so yeah, I would say Fresh Meat 1 because that brought in the Evan, that brought Kenny. You'll see like Coral, all that stuff. DM, like I think that's a good place to start, especially as you're saying, Fanta, if you haven't seen The Real World and Road Rules from back in the day. So that's what I think. Mark was also on NSFW. You know what? Like they have good guests, but like I don't like Johnny Fairplay, so I just can't get behind it. And I was obviously annoyed that he partially spoiled me. You know. I wouldn't mind Janelle. I don't remember who Janelle is or Rachel back in their prime on the challenge. Who's Janelle?
Janelle was on Real World with Frank and Zach. Is that right? She's like
black.
Yeah, she's really pretty.
I kind of remember her right now, but I don't.
Oh no, sorry. She was on Key West.
Oh, with Bananas and
Svetlana, and yeah, she's on Key West. But yeah,
I don't remember her, but I'll take her, like, because like then I'll go back and watch that season and be like, oh my god, I remember this. So I'm in. I'm down.
I'm gonna go back and rewatch. I've been planning to go back and rewatch Real World.
Las Vegas one. Oh, New Orleans. Okay.
With Knight and
Jemmye.
Ryan, because people were like talking about like, remember Ryan with a blow dryer? Like he would blow dry himself. And he was just like, he had like ADHD and he was just like very problematic. Like,
I remember just like snippets of that season, but I don't remember fully, obviously, like so long ago. So Natalie did see that Casey and Nany hooked up. We were just speculating, but I mean, I guess it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's
we know them both quite well at this point. Okay, thanks to the challenge, shows like Big Brother, Survivor, and Amazing Race wouldn't be a big deal as they are right now. Absolutely. They paved the way and nobody wants to give them credit at all. Or wouldn't be a thing. Exactly. Totally agree. Maybe the creators of the circle should give Big Brother people idea. We should give Big Brother people an idea. Or like how to have a good show and cast good people. They do a pretty good job there. Speaking the truth, is there anything that could truly have made the season better?
No.
Maybe two episodes, because like I wouldn't have minded seeing it play out a little bit of the double elimination thing. I would have liked to see a little bit more strategy that went along with that, because kind of like they had 2 weeks of it and then they're at the final. So I wouldn't have minded 2 more weeks of that happening and maybe whittle down the final challenge potentially. And yeah, so that's it, but that's quite minor. And it's just because I want more content, because I love them and I would like to see people like freak out, and maybe a couple more club nights. If Paramount Plus and MTV are under the same umbrella, they should have some sort of deal where MTV airs clips or something, All Stars related on MTV. I know, they must have some sort of agreement. I have no idea why they do the things they do. We need a Viacom executive on here.
Exactly.
Would we ever see anybody from Big Brother Canada on the challenge?
It'd be hard, but I think it might be possible.
There was a girl from The Bachelor Canada that was on one of the seasons. On what's the one where was it? Final Reckoning? Might have been. Where Kyle ends up winning against JP and CT.
Mm.
Do you know that? Anyways, that one, there was a girl that was on there when they had to pick those new people when the twins were on there. And anyways, whatever season that was, there was someone from Canada, but I don't know if she has dual citizenship. So I don't know, but I'll petition for it to happen. With the challenge on Amazon Prime, there are some seasons you have to buy to watch the whole season. That's annoying. Well, message me and I can help you out. I was talking about Janelle and Rachel at Big Brother. Oh my God. Okay. That's so funny that we're thinking of like the challenge people. I would love to see Janelle and Rachel on.
That would be everything.
On All Stars, like if they're fans of the show and they came as the fans of the finally aged meat.
Stop calling it that.
Terrorism.
Jesus.
Anyways, though, like fresh meat 2 or 3. I would
fresh
love
meat, fine wine, like anything but charcuterie boards.
So Janelle and Rachel would be, if they were fans of the show, I would love to see it. I would love it. I don't know if they would, because Janelle is kind of like a little bit cushy, because she said that she hated doing The Amazing Race because she was like, oh, we just like run around the world and look like shit every day. She didn't like that. But if it's the chance of winning $500,000 and it's only 2.5 weeks, she loves money. And I could see her being asked. And that, my Lord, would be everything to me. Her and Rachel both on their season, especially since they're friends in real life. And everybody would be around their age because they're like 38, 39, 40. I would live for it, Norma. That's a good ask. Do you see Paula coming back for future seasons? Yeah, I think All Stars, maybe. I can see it. Kellyanne isn't old enough to be an all-star. Yeah, she's probably, her and Jonna are probably the youngest. And Jemmye.
Yeah, she's like 35.
Oh.
Jody for all-star. You like Jody? You have a crush on Jody?
No. Kellyanne, you know.
Oh. I'm like, Jody. Malcolm says, finally Age Beat is the best name I've heard. I'm here for it. Yes, Malcolm.
Listen. You will be fined, Chantele, an additional $25 each time you say that term again, as well as you find folks in the comments. If you can use the term, you will have to Venmo me money.
We don't have Venmo over here. Don't even pretend. Okay, Janelle said on the feeds that she would do the challenge or Survivor. She did say Survivor. I didn't hear her say the challenge. I'm down. I'm going to make that happen. I did see that Janelle and Rachel want to do Survivor. Well, I mean, I think the challenge would be easier than Survivor for them and it'd be more in their wheelhouse. So I'm down. Well, this is all the comments. This is it for the actual season. Next week, we'll be talking about the tea and any extra gossip. We'll do probably a little bit more about what may be coming up for the season 37. No spoilers, but like anything that's unimportant that happens. If somebody's like, out of quarantine and they're on the show now or whatever. So yeah, you guys are willing to do that? Because I'm thinking that we should have the Reach 1,000 subscriber party as well next week. So it'll just be kind of like a combo where I can do the draw for somebody to win the $100 gift certificate to Amazon. I can give you two a little gift-a-rooney. Yeah, so what do you think? We can have a little party? Are you guys into it?
Are we allowed
of course.
to?
Yeah.
I'm joking. I never need permission for that.
I mean, you don't need permission, but like you can drink for sure.
You were drinking a couple of weeks ago, Michelle. I saw you.
I had 2 really lit weeks on here. There was 2. There was a Wednesday and there was a Friday where I just was like living and like had some wine.
Oh my God.
It's a big deal for me. So anyway,
I've never really done a podcast tipsy, so maybe I'll have a little bevy, a little celebratory bevy.
It's fun. I've done a couple eps. I won't
so
tell you
fun.
But
I mean, I think I know, but I don't care, and B, that could be fun. So yeah, we can talk about the reunion and then also have a little celebration about, well, we're gonna be at over 2,000 subscribers at that time, but we'll do the draw and everything. So you guys still have a chance to get your screenshots in. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe, send your screenshot that you have subscribed, and you could be still entered to win the $100 gift certificate. Or I'm sorry, I might too. You're faster than me. Right here, right now. And so yes, to Realnesss with 3 S's at gmail.com, and you can still get in there before next week, Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern. So, oh my gosh, this is almost it, guys. Happy belated birthday, Natalie.
Birthday. That was
one of
my favorite ages. 27.
27 was a good age. 27 was fun.
Sure.
It was super fun. I was in Montreal. I was living. I was like, I made so much money. The rent is so cheap. Like, I was having the time of my life at 27. Absolutely. Like, oh. To be 27 again. Wouldn't that be great? Wasn't Rachel on the short list for All Stars? I never heard that. Wow. I'm gonna go investigate that. I want that to happen. Well, that's it, everybody. We love you. We'll see you next week. Ciao.